Hello, everybody. Ryan Carpenter here with No BS Golf, brought to you by Pew 45 Knuckle Down Golf. Just wanted to go over a topic I had had a conversation about here, and this one tends to come up pretty often, and I know a lot of content is out there in relation to lagging the golf club. And so, we got to start right there, right? What is lagging the golf club? Well, for the most part, term made up, used. Pretty much it just, I don't know, kind of came from, I would say, the general sense of feeling some get when they might be trying to, create the lag. And the simple part is just, what we see, in the golf swing from a lot of the best players especially, is that, in their transition and hitting a golf ball from the top of the swing, down into almost right before impact, when you look at the line, if you draw the lines, between the lead arm and the club shaft, it's kind of like an L shape, right? And so for good players, we see that they basically maintain that relationship. So that general kind of angle between, lead arm and club shaft stays, for a long time from top down. Whereas if you spent the time like I have in all the years, I sat bays at Golf Tech for 7 years, and so many countless others teaching now, and you look at almost all amateurs, for the most part, they don't do that, and they employ all kinds of other immediate kind of releasing of the club and maneuvering with the wrist and sending the club kind of away and out from the body immediately in the downswing as they begin the downswing, if you will. And so it's been used as a way to try to define all sorts of things. People relate it to speed and distance and ball striking, and how to get rid of hitting it fat and all kinds of stuff. So you could relate it to all kinds of things. There's no, absolute wrong or right there, and then a lot of it's indirect. But it's more about understanding, well, what's really going on, though. I think the biggest problem out there is that players think they know what they're trying to accomplish. So they've seen the images and they kind of seen there, and they kind of got to do that more because this is what happens, and so on and so forth. But what we got to understand is that there's a certain set of real motion occurring with the best players in the world, and you have to also begin to understand that throughout golf swings, there's cause and effect, good and bad. So there's a lot of causes, things that we do that create bad outputs, that create bad ball flight, right? Bad impact, whatever you want to, relate it to. But at the same time, there's a lot of things we hope that students will do, at least good players do it for sure. And the reason they do it, whether it's body motion or so on and so forth, it helps create positive effects. So it leads to the ability for the player to develop or create different motion and get to the point of, being able to apply a better skill or so on and so forth. So a lot of relationship there, but that's the key to it. Relationship. By just creating an angle between the lead arm and the club shaft, that one thing is not an active motion in itself. It's just something we see at one point, typically the top of the swing, right? And so that doesn't really define what's going on. It's visually easy to pick up on that, but there's no definition of motion or action or input or anything going on there. What we have to understand is that, yes, there is bending of the wrist, right? There is radial deviation, there is flexion. There's things that occur as a player takes the club up to the top of the swing. But there's also things going on for good players that occur on the way back down. And in fact, the way that they input, like put input into the club, the way their wrists and other things occurring, shoulders, arm, you name it, a lot of motion going on, that they do it combined with the number one thing that's missing, hands down, is what is different about them versus most amateurs. And so it's more about what's different and what's actually occurring in motion than just the sheer fact that, okay, yes, they're better and most amateurs are worse. Those are the obvious things we can. So that's the big key. And what I want to point out today is that the number one thing that almost never gets talked about when it comes to, people talking about, I'm trying to maintain lag, I'm trying to get the lag, get that lag going. Okay, great. Yeah, but hold on a second. Let's take look at the rest of the swing. And 9 times out of 10, when I look at that player, they got all kinds of other stuff going on that's getting in the way or missing. And the number one thing missing, hands down, is proper rotation. Because if a player doesn't have the skill of proper rotation, now, that's a key word. I'm not talking about like some crazy tour pro spinning out of his shoes type stuff. I'm just talking proper rotation. We'll define that later on another video. But proper rotation is required in order for someone to actually learn how to, and I don't like to use the word, but lag the golf club. And it's not lagging. It's a system of delivery of how to bring the club down on certain paths and into a position to be able to deliver it into a solid impact and release it and so on and so forth. So it's more about how we get there and then how that looks on a camera, which looks like lag. Okay, fair, fine, get it. But the thing that's always missing, and if you look at my Twitter post, you'll see it. If you look really, really close, the two different players, one player is rotating a lot. One player has no rotation whatsoever. And because of the lack of rotation and the absolute not enough appropriate or positive or good rotation is the reason that player is never going to develop lag because they're forced into other motions, whether it be due to what they've experienced while hitting a golf ball so far up to this point, which they don't relate that to lack of rotation, but that's where I come in and I help them figure that out and understand that. But it's directly related to the lack of rotation for sure. So if you're working on lag, if you've looked at the whatever, YouTube, the magazines, the books, the blah, blah, blahs, I get it. If you're not first checking that there is proper rotation prior to that downswing delivery, then you just flat out wasting your time. And that's BS. I don't like wasting time. That's what this is all about. No BS golf. So, as always, if you want to learn more about that, certainly feel free to hit me up. Respond in the comments section. Pound that like button. Hit that subscription button. And share it. Put it out there on that good old World Wide Web for me, especially on that Twitter machine. But if you do have questions, hit me up anytime on Twitter, P45KDG. That's at P45KDG. And then email is P45knuckledowngolf, all one word, at gmail.com. So for today, go and enjoy that TPC. It's a beautiful day out there. Nice and sunny. Looks pretty sweet. Probably going to see a bunch of balls in the water. Going to be a fun week. For now, Ryan Carpenter out. Take care.